Hi everyone, it's Dee's. Today I'm going to have a peruse through the Sunday Mail, which is a newspaper in Adelaide by the Advertiser. I don't usually buy or read the newspapers. I'm not a big fan of mainstream media, but somebody requested that I go through a newspaper, so this was from July the 9th, last week, and let's have a quick, well maybe not so quick, have a nice peruse through the newspaper. Before I start I better pop on my glasses. As you can hear, it is pouring rain at the moment. We're due 10 to 20 mil today, so that's quite a bit of rain. I'm just going to wipe my glasses with some lens cleaning wipe. That's the downside of having glasses, is any bit of grease or dirt will be picked up on them, and it can become quite annoying to look through hazy glasses. So these cleansing wipes are good, but they smell. They're fairly strong. I don't think that rain is going to ease at all today, so I thought it's a perfect opportunity to record this particular video. Okay, let's see what that's like. That's great. So let's start, shall we? Message all Aussies. I have millions and own houses all around the world. Atomic bomb. Obviously to do with tennis. Meet our great white calf. So this is obviously a neglect case on a girl. Chloe would have turned 10, instead she will remain forever 4. Her life cut short by abuse and neglect. I just hate hearing those type of stories, it's so sad. Batteries one day, could car tech be next? South Australia's ailing auto industry could find a partial saviour in the lithium-ion battery farm through business opportunities included in the state government's contract with global technology giant Tesla. This makes me laugh. When they talk energy in South Australia, we've had yesterday 6 power outages, and the 6 yesterday, and the day before 2. Most of them only happen a few seconds, but you've got to reset everything, and we pay the highest in the world apparently for electricity in Adelaide, South Australia. And for that service, the amount of money we pay, I expect it to be a lot better. There's an electrical safety recall here on a power supply adapter, AC plug adapter. When the ultimate zoo experience, some competition, Megan Gale, exclusive Megan on marriage, modelling and those rumours. If you don't know, Megan Gale is an actress and a model here in Australia. So Megan Gale is best known as an actress and model, but it might surprise many of her fans that she's also a nurse and a cook and a therapist. She's not paid for any of these jobs. Well, that's like me, or any other mum out there, or stay-at-home dad for that matter. They're part of the territory when your partner is an AFL player whose fortunes rise and fall with the performance of his team and the condition of his body. She has a 3-year-old son and another on the way. And apparently she has learned that being a footy spouse is an occupation in itself. And there's an interview on page 83. The GP and the lonely widow. For many people, the family doctor is more than just a person who gives medical advice. To elderly patients, they become a friend and a confidant, particularly during times of loneliness, when close family members have passed away. But one GP failed to set clear doctor-patient boundaries when he allowed an elderly widow to write him into her will while he continued to treat her. It has now cost him $25,000. I'm not going to read all the stories because it'll take too long. Turnbull's French connections. As looters went on a spree and violent protesters lobbed flares into cars, Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull went on a very safe trip through Hamburg with US President Donald Trump. Mr. Turnbull flew to Paris last night after 2 days of meetings with world leaders at the G20 summit. He was set to meet French President Emmanuel Macron to discuss the $50 billion future submarines project, as well as trade and terror. He told reporters in Germany Mr. Trump invited him for a ride in his special car. The beast is a gleaming black Cadillac built to resist chemical warfare bullets and the press. It reportedly carries bottles of the president's blood, a tear gas cannon and pump-action shotguns. It was very kind of him. We went from a reception to the concert theatre, Mr. Turnbull said. He and Mr. Trump's wife, Melanie, invited Lucy and I to ride with him in the car, and it was an opportunity to have a good private discussion about a number of issues. President Trump and I get on very well. Mr. Turnbull added that they have a number of mutual friends. Tens of thousands of activists held protests throughout the G20, many of them marred by violence. Thousands of riot police could not bring the protests under control, and dozens of officers were injured. Cars were set on fire, and a hardcore of protesters targeted moving vehicles. Sections of the city, including the area where Mr. Turnbull was staying, were forced into lockdown. The G20 is primarily an economic forum, but this year talks focused more on the North Korean threat and terror. Australia led the charge on discussions about stopping terrorists spreading propaganda online. Climate change and energy were also major topics. So this caption says, "Shake on it, Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump's first face-to-face meeting at the G20 summit. So much chemistry, even Melania couldn't tear them apart." US President Donald Trump and Russian leader Vladimir Putin engaged in a very robust exchange over claims Moscow meddled in America's elections during their first face-to-face talks yesterday, at a fractious G20 summit marred by violent street protests. So this is in regards to tennis, obviously. I don't watch tennis or much sport, to be honest. Bernard Tomic has savaged the Australian public, saying they could only dream about his Lamborghini and international houses. The outburst came as Tomic's father John said he was ashamed of his son for feigning injury in his first round defeat at Wimbledon. Tomic had confessed he was bored at the All England club and didn't care whether he won or lost. Taking aim at his detractors, Tomic said, "Message to all Australians that don't like me. I worked 10 hours a day with my father, having no money in our life from the age of 8 to 15. We were driving a $500 car to now having millions and earning millions at 24, having houses all over the world. End of the day, you probably don't like me, but at only 24, you guys can only dream about having what I have at 24. Just go back dreaming about your dream car or house while I go buy them." Okay. Each to their own. History subject to be a thing of the past. Australian history will be soon extinct as a Year 12 subject after suffering a decline in student interest. It will be dumped as a standalone SACE Year 12 subject from next year. Dwindling enrolments have consigned it to the dustbin of history as student numbers dropped from 339 in 2004 to 109 in the first year of the revamped SACE in 2011 to just 24 last year. Only 3 schools ran the subject in 2016, Mount Gambier High School, Coomandok Area School and an independent school. While the SACE board could not confirm this year's enrolments, Command told the Sunday Mail it had no takers this year. Okay, what do you know about our past? I don't know if I want to try and answer these. I was never good at history. What was the name of Captain James Cook's ship when he landed on Australia's shores in 1770? I know that one, that's the Endeavour. What date did the first fleet arrive at Port Jackson, New South Wales? January 26th, 1788. Who led the first circumnavigation of Australia in 1801 to 02? That would be Matthew Flinders. What date was the British province of South Australia established? I don't know. Who was the first governor of South Australia? Hindmarsh. Can't remember his first name. What political event happened on January the 1st, 1901? I do not know. Who was the first Prime Minister of Australia? Edward Barton. Which Turkish peninsula did Anzac troops invade? In which year was the Constitution? I don't know. I think I will leave it at that before I embarrass myself. I don't know which famous Indigenous land rights case was handed down in 1992. I don't know. We did learn a bit of history in school. It was quite a long while ago now, because I'm 52 actually tomorrow I'm 52. So I never really enjoyed taking history classes actually. If anything, I was more interested as I got older. Families of the fleet, our ships, our jobs, our future. They had a workers' family open day at Osborne Naval Shipyard. Could this creature be a South Australian thylacine? See the footage and make up your own mind. Thylacine hunter Neil and York Peninsula farmer Paul near the spot where Mr. Day filmed the strange animal. A York Peninsula schoolteacher has filmed what he believes could be a thylacine in farmland near Moonta. It shows a four-legged animal with a peculiar gait crossing in front of Mr. Day's camera. And the animal appears to be hopping on its back legs. style of movement often attributed to the Tasmanian tiger. And that's what it looks like. A South Australian couple is on the cusp of winning $200,000 in tonight's grand final of House Rules. I don't watch much TV, so I'm not up with all of that. I listen to the ABC radio, and I tend to look at the world news rather than buy newspapers and such. Tears shed for victims. 3 dead in a horrid 2 days on our roads leave families in grief. That's not very nice. Now the rain's easing a little bit. This is a thick paper. Look at all of this. Luxury, Canada and Alaska. Explore the Rockies and cruise Alaska's Inside Passage. That'd be nice. I don't think I'll ever go on a cruise ship again though, because I got seasick very, very bad. Even though I took medication to stop it from the doctor, I still suffered from seasickness. In fact, just thinking of being on a ship makes me feel sick. Win for court sheriffs as 120 jobs saved from cut. Security in the state courts will not be privatised, saving the jobs of 120 court sheriff officers whose futures have been in jeopardy and their professionalism under attack for 5 months. Same-sex marriage bill on the way. Liberal Senator Dean Smith has revealed he is drafting a private member's bill to legalise same-sex marriage, declaring the time is now to resolve an issue which has become an embarrassment for the nation. The bombshell confirms weeks of speculation that there were new attempts within the Federal Liberal Party to bring about a conscience vote on same-sex marriage, despite Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull's insistence it would be determined by a plebiscite. Home builders send an SOS. South Australia's building industry is on the verge of a crisis, and the state government should stimulate the market to prevent significant job losses and economic decline, property experts urge. So some report has shown that May shows South Australia recorded its worst sales result since the monthly report was launched 17 years ago. So the number of new detached house sales dropped by 15.6%. That's because housing is very expensive. And it's the land, actually, I think, that's very expensive. pick up or pay tighter lead on owners. Dog owners will feel the bite of harsher fines that from this month have almost quadrupled in some cases. The tougher penalties have been introduced ahead of new industry standards for breeders and sellers, which stipulate minimum welfare conditions from the 1st of August. Councils will also get greater powers to investigate and prosecute offences, including the ability to seize evidence and compel owners to provide personal details to reduce dog attacks. Okay, so some of the new fees will include allowing a dog to harass, attack or chase a person or animal. The fine could be $210 to $315 and $750 for prescribed breeds. A dog wandering at large, $80 to $210, $210 to $750 for prescribed breeds. Excessive dog barking, $105 to $315. Failure to register a dog, $80 to $170, or $210 to $750 for prescribed breeds. And it goes on. Something about Game of Thrones. It's the biggest TV show in the world, and Australians can't wait to watch Game of Thrones when it finally returns on July the 17th. The programme, recognised as Australia's most illegally downloaded show, is only available in Australia on Foxtel. It has a new platform to see Game of Thrones that it hopes will slash the number of illegal downloads. More Australians illegally downloaded the premiere of Season 6 than any other country, but this season Foxtel has made it far easier to watch illegally. I like Game of Thrones. A shell-shocked journey is over. Janelle the Green Turtle above, and Alicia the loggerhead right, as they were when they first arrived at the Amaro after floating ashore at Robe and Cape Jervis. The turtles were in poor condition, malnourished and covered in barnacles and algae, after they were left unable to dive below the surface. And that's caused by a condition, by them ingesting plastic apparently. So they had a 6-month recovery at the Amrose facility, and now they're ready to be flown to Coolangatta and released in New South Wales. I collect turtle ornaments. I love turtles. House Rules. These are TV shows. Yummy Mummies. So they're just giving you the best and worst broadband hotspots in Adelaide. Cities push for a slice of $1 million action. Computer animated blockbusters like Frozen or Minions could be created in Adelaide under a bold plan to lure Hollywood studios and other leading technology companies to South Australia. That would be good. Nick Scully Furniture Sale. They make beautiful leather lounge suites. The Royal Adelaide show's coming soon again. I think that's in September, I'm not sure. Attacker back in jail in 3 weeks. A judge has criticised the lack of rehabilitation given to a young man during a jail term for manslaughter after he used a knife in a violent home invasion just 3 weeks after release. So, this looks like the sports section. Here's a southern right whale frolicking in the waters off the head of Bight. Look out, 295 kilometres west of Virginia in the far west. The whales take up residence in the small bay to give birth and enjoy some R&R. Nice pictures. There we go. So I'm just going to zip through the sports section because I don't know a thing about football. What's white night? Sydney's Rohan in right direction. Dons pile more misery on Buckley. I have no idea who these people are, other than they're football players. And there's a bit on the tracks. Horse racing. And here's some building and home improvement section. Home and life. And movies, television. So I'll just pop that over there for now. This is travel. Cruises again. I think I would do a river cruise, but not an open sea cruise. Again, due to sickness. So this is the Philippines. Looks beautiful. Japan. I'd love to go to Japan during their the Blossom Festival. Borneo Explorer. Canada, Alaska. Bali, Europe, London to London, 31 night grand tour, and happens to Malaga 23 night grand tour. Go wild in Botswana. They scare me. Beautiful creatures, but they scare me because of their size. Europe cruising, yeah. 2018 Europe river cruising, that would be okay. As long as I don't go in the open sea. So, Normandy and Gems of the Seine, south of France, jewels of Europe. Piece of Greece. That would be a beautiful place to visit too. They have all these pull-out sections in the Sunday Mail. Cruise de France sail. Deluxe river cruising in Provence. 8 days south of France cruise. From $3,745 per person. Vietnam. Lots of places to visit if you have lots of money. My uncle did a cruise from, I don't know if he left from Melbourne or Sydney and went to New Zealand, but he was very, very ill on the ship as well, so it must run in the family. Sri Lanka, China, Vietnam and Cambodia, Japan, Thailand, Borneo. Isn't that beautiful? Wow, this travel section certainly has increased in size since I last read a newspaper. So here's another section on wellness. This could easily be a 3-hour video all about the races. Horse racing. More on football. Any footy fans out there are probably screaming at the moment because I'm just bypassing it all. Panthers pounce to break drought. Car racing. Bike riding. Tennis. Parenting expert Pinky McKay reveals how you can survive your children's often turbulent teenage years. I'll just read out a couple of the tips because I did have 3 teenagers at one stage. They're all adult now. Mobile phone and internet usage. Have phone charging stations outside the bedroom. Have an area where all family members, including parents, keep their phones at night. Consider turning the Wi-Fi off at night or not giving your teen the password if it becomes a problem. Girlfriends and boyfriends. Have conversations with your teen about who they are seeing. If you don't approve of a partner, try not to be too forceful. This will only push them away further. Pocket money. Don't hand out too much cash. It will give them a greater sense of entitlement, and they're likely to spend it on things they shouldn't. Think of alcohol. If your teenager wants some extra money, encourage them to get a casual job. Setting rules. Be prepared to make your own rules. You don't have to follow the crowd. Don't worry about embarrassing your kid when disciplining them. They will get over it. Don't yell. You'll never get the full story from your teen if you overreact. Be firm, but keep your cool. What's this? Adelaide's Ninja Warriors. Australian Ninja Warrior starts tonight at 7. I wouldn't have a clue about that. Sorts restaurants maze of debt. Foul-mouthed British chef Gordon Ramsay has reached a secret deal over debts outstanding from his failed Melbourne restaurant maze. It's 6 years since Maze and Maze Grill at Crown Metropole went into liquidation after being declared unsustainable. Man gives birth to girl. A 21-year-old has made history by becoming the first British man to give birth. Just hours after his daughter was delivered by caesarean section, Hayden Cross, 21, said, "She's my angel." Cradling baby Trinity Lee, Mr. Cross, who was born Page, said was absolutely ecstatic, describing the newborn as just perfect in every way. And he told the son, "She's so good, I'm so lucky." Following the birth, Mr. Cross of Gloucester now plans to return to complete his gender realignment as soon as possible. He has been living legally as a man for more than 3 years and taking male hormones, giving him facial hair and a deep voice. Before completing his transition, he asked the National Health Service to freeze his eggs in a $7,000 process in the hope he might have children years later, but health chiefs refused. "I faced the prospect of not becoming the man I'm supposed to be physically or a dad," Mr. Cross said, "so I didn't feel like I had any choice but to have a baby now, then get back to transitioning." So in September he got pregnant by a sperm donation. "I found the donor on the internet. I looked on Facebook for a group and found one. It's been shut down now. I didn't even have to pay. The man came to my house. He passed me the sperm in a container and I did it via a syringe." Mr. Cross, who is unemployed but aims to find a job once the baby is aged 1, said he would be the greatest dad. I won't read the rest of the story. More about the protesters at the G20. Simon Burke. He used to be a host of Play School. Or maybe he still is. Familiar face Simon Burke during a break in rehearsals for the stage play Noises Off on Play School with Humpty Dumpty in 1988. This is when my kids were little. My first son was born in 1987, so he's a very familiar face to me. made, which is here. So that's where I am. Classifieds. Megan Gale again, pregnant with a second pups. So this is Megan's interview, which I won't read because it'll take too long. Fashion. Weddings. I used to always love looking at all the wedding photos in the papers. I just noticed green dresses and gold. They look nice together. I've never seen that in a bridal party before. Very nice. Isn't her bouquet gorgeous? It's all Australian flowers by the looks of it. Holiday Fun Guide. It's the end of the first week of school holidays. At the moment there's one more week left. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video.